Hey everyone, in this After Effects tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create 5 different text animation inside of After Effects. This tutorial is going to be super helpful to freshers for people who are very new to After Effects because I will be explaining every step in detail, and this video will give you an idea about how to get started with text animated properties in After Effects. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started. But before we start, make sure you click that subscribe button because 70% of you guys watch my video but haven't subscribed yet. I have more than 500 tutorials that you can binge watch right now, so enjoy it, it's absolutely free. And now, let's start today's video. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's call this title underscore 01. 1920 by 1080, 30 FPS and 10 seconds long duration. Press OK. Then select the text tool and type in whatever text that you want. I will type in Wiggle. Let's keep it white. And for the font, I'll go with one of my favorite fonts, that is Helvetica. Now display and bold. Alright. Now to add the nice wiggle effect or the wiggle animation, let's jump into the text properties, and in the text we get an option called animate. So let's click on this button, and here we have number of different properties. Let's select the position property and let's give it a very minimal position of 3 and 5. Alright, and then you will see this add button in the animator one. So I'll click on this and let's now add a selector. Select Wiggly Selector. And in the Wiggly Selector, we get number of different options. You don't need to worry about them. All you have to do is bring down the wiggles per second by 1. And then bring down the correlation down to 0. So if I preview our text, you can see every letter wiggles with the individual position. So if I increase the correlation, now the complete letter wiggles, and as I keep bringing down the correlation percentage, you can see every letter is animating or wiggling on its own. So I'll set this to 0 and now we get this really cool look. But to take this one step forward, I will add a posterized time effect on this. So let's select the layer, go into Effects and Presets, search for posterized time. Double click to apply this. And what this effect is going to do is change the frame rate of this particular layer. So any animation that we have on this layer is going to have a frame rate of the frame rate that we set here in the posterized time. So right now it's set at 24 FPS. If I set this down to maybe 5, now the animation is going to animate as if it's made with 5 FPS, or it's, animating at the speed of 5 FPS. So this is really cool. And the combination of wiggle and posterized time gives us this really interesting text animation. So you can use this kind of text as subtitles in any kind of paper, texture videos. So it would look really cool to add any name. So let's say I had a name here. It looks really, really nice. So let's zoom in a little. And you can anytime play with the position that we added. So I can go right here. Let's increase this. So let's say if I made this maybe around 10 and this to 50. So we have this really abstract look. So 50 is too much. Let's go 20. And you can see we get this really interesting stop motion kind of look. So in case if you're making a stop motion short film or something like that, this kind of text animation can be used as a nice title for your video. Now let's duplicate this. Let's create another cool title animation. So this is going to be a nice and cinematic one. So let's select the text tool and I'm going to type in cinematic. Let's go ahead and make this all caps. And for the font, I'll go with maybe something like integral. Okay, let's bring down the size a little bit. Now let's again jump into the text properties, go into animate, and let's add a property of position. Then I will go into add another property of, let's go to opacity, and finally another property of blur. Right here you can see we have only 2 position properties because our layer is 2D. We do not have the Z position. So what we need to do is let's press Control Z to get rid of everything and turn our layer into a 3D layer. Then go into the text properties, animate, and turn on enable per character 3D. Okay. And now if I go into animate and add a property of position, you can see we get three properties for the position. Then click on add property of opacity and add a property of blur. So we need to bring this into Z space. So I'll set this to around maybe minus 2000 should be fine. Yep, that's fine. And let's increase the blur amount all the way up to 100. All right. Now let's go into the range selector and let's animate the offset. Let's go at the very start and set the offset to minus 100 and create a keyframe. Go to 2 seconds and set this to positive 100. Then when I go into the advanced properties, I'll set the shape to ramp up. So now when I preview this, we have something like this. Pretty cool. Now here is where the opacity will come into play. So I'll set the opacity down to 0. And now when I preview this, we have this really nice animation. But to take this one step forward, we can increase the ease low all the way up to 100 and then turn on randomize auto. So now when we preview this, we have this random letters coming in. And if you want to change the way it animates, I can just play around with the random seed. So we're going to get a different look. Pretty cool, right? There you go. Really nice and cinematic. So it's a very simple technique of creating this elegant cinematic looking text animation in After Effects. Now let's go ahead and check out the third animation. So I'll duplicate this again. So now we have title 3, jump into the title 3 composition, get rid of this text and let's add a new text. So I'm going to select the text tool and type in a text. So let's type in scary stories. And for the font, I'll again go with Helvetica. This time I'll go with a regular and we don't need full caps on, so I'll turn that off. And align this into the center. Then go into text properties, animate, and this time I'm going to add an opacity and set that down to 0. Then go into the range selector 1 and animate it. So I'll go at the very start, set a keyframe on the start property. So I'll click on the stopwatch, make sure it's set at 0, go to maybe around 2 seconds and set this all the way up to 100. So now we have a very simple text reveal. And then what I'm going to do is going to animate and add another property of blur. So this is going to create animated 2. And now we can set the blur amount really high, maybe something like 20 or something. And then let's animate the start property again in the range selector, create a keyframe, go right here and set this to 100. And then if I move this keyframe forward by a few seconds like so, here we have this really nice animation. As you can see how our text is first a little bit blurry and then it comes into focus. It looks like the text is out of focus and then slowly it's coming into focus. So I can maybe move this a little more forward and you can see we can also play around with the blurriness. So we can increase the blur amount if we want to. But that is way too much. I think 20 is a nice sweet spot. And it's a very simple effect, but looks very, very cool if you use it correctly. Now let's jump on to our next text animation. So I'll duplicate this. Let's go into title 4. I can delete this. And this is one of my favorite one without a doubt. So let's select the text layer, type in anything. I'll type in creative maybe. Okay. Now, one thing you need to make sure is select the text layer, go into the paragraph and make sure the alignment is set to center. It should be on left by default, so make sure you click it and set it to the center alignment. This is going to come in handy when we add a tracking property on this. So let's select this. I'll select maybe a old version. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go into animate and add a property of a position, then going to add a property of opacity, and finally another property of tracking. So let's bring down the tracking really close like so, maybe by minus 80 or 70. Let's go minus 80. Bring down the opacity. Before that, let's bring down the position like so. Around 150 should be good. And set the opacity to 0. Then I'll go into the range selector and let's animate the offset. So I'll set the offset to minus 100, clear keyframe. Go to around 2 seconds and set this to positive 100. So now we have something like this. Now let's go into advanced properties and change the shape to ramp up and bring up the ease low. So let's increase this to 100%. And now we have something like this. So if I preview this, yeah, this really cool animation. I think it's a bit too slow. So let's bring that closer. Pretty nice, a bit more. Yep, that is looking really cool, I think. And one more thing that you can do is select the text and let's create a mask over it. So I'll create a mask like so. And this is going to give us this really nice effect, like the text is popping out of something, which looks really cool. But to take this one step forward, what we can do is duplicate this, press Ctrl D. Let's move this a bit forward in time. Put this below, select the top one, and switch this to stroke. So now when we preview this, we have an extra layer of detail into our text, which looks really cool. As you can see. So this can be a really interesting way of using this for a title reveal or maybe an intro, something like that. And finally, let's jump on to our fifth technique or the fifth title animation. So I'll press Ctrl D to duplicate the composition. Go into title 5. Let's delete this. Let's select the text tool and type in the text that we want. I'm going to type in waves. Make sure it's set to fill. And I'll set this to maybe an extra bold and full caps as well. Select the text layer, go into Effects and Presets, and search for an effect called Wave Warp. Double-click to apply that. Let's go into the wave type, and we have different set of properties here, but I'm going to select this sawtooth one. And let's increase the wave height to around 20. Let's bring up the the wave width to 80. Set the direction to 0, and let's bring down the wave speed to around 0.7. And now when we preview this, we have this really interesting text animation. And this text animation is inspired from Peter McKinnon's title animation. He has one of his title where this kind of effect is played, which I thought was really cool. And I thought it's really simple to create. So why not I share it with you guys? So that is how you can create this 5 different and cool looking title or text animation inside of After Effects without using any third-party plugin. Now, if you guys want to learn to create more such amazing title or text animations, then I have a complete playlist ready for you with over 40-50 plus tutorials which are absolutely free to watch. You can binge watch it right now. Link to which is in the description below. And you can also follow me on Instagram at dope.motions and Nikhil Pawar. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out. So that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comments below which text animation out of these 5 you find super useful or super creative. I would love to know your answer. You can also follow me on Instagram at dope.motions and Nikhil Pawar. All the links are in the description below. And I have a complete playlist on such amazing text animation ready for you that you can binge watch right now. So make sure to check out this playlist. You will love it. So with that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.